Should a murderer go to jail for murdering?
Absolutely.
Should a thief go to jail when he steals?
Absolutely.
Should a robber pay back the money he robbed?
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did?
That's right. That's right.
Hey, shalom, Israel. Yahweh Shimi Shah Thumb to all the brothers. Yahweh Shemar al Thumb Shimi Shah to all the sisters. This is Priest and Officer Malak here in Kansas City, Kansas. We on the Kansas side today. We got a little bit of an exploration for us, you understand? This is a historic black area, a historic black, Hispanic, and Native Indian site that we're on right now. This right here is called Quindaro Park. This is the Quindaro Ruins, you understand? We're gonna get some good footage for you so you can check it out. But just a little background on this area that we're standing in. The reason why it's so historical and the reason why this is a national monument in America is because of the pivotal role it played during slavery. As everybody knows about the Civil War, a lot of people don't realize the main two players, Missouri and the state of Kansas, were the ones who caused the Civil War. John Brown, who was a white abolitionist, burned down the city of Lawrence. It was a national historical event known as Bleeding Kansas, and that's what sparked the debate of the Civil War. That's what the boys down there, the Confederates in the South, and the Yankees, the Union up north, across that Mason-Dixon line. What he did here in the state of Kansas, it sparked that. It sparked the thought of the Civil War, and that's why the two schools, Missouri or Mizzou and KU, Kansas University, why it's called a border war. That dates back all the way to our slavery. So we standing here in Quindaro Ruins. This is a historical black monument because right across this, what we're gonna show you right now, is the Underground Railroad. Come on, Elisha, you can follow me out. Right across this awning, you can see the Missouri River. And when the slaves would exit out of this Underground Railroad, they saw the Missouri River and they knew on the other side was the state of Missouri, because Missouri was a slave state and Kansas was a free state. It was a slave-free state, you understand? And once again, that border war, it caused the spark to begin the Civil War in 1863. You understand? So what we see right now is the Quindaro Ruins. You understand? Keep going with me, Elisha. Quindaro Ruins, this area of Quindaro, it was named after a Native Indian sister from the tribe of Wyandotte. That's why this area is called Wyandotte, Kansas. You understand? Keep going, Elisha. Keep walking. All right, as you can see the flag here to denote it as a national monument. This is a historical site, right? Quindaro Ruins was an all-black city. You don't see those anymore thanks to leaders like Dr. King, who ruined all of our black cities, all of our black schools, all of our black businesses. Things like this got destroyed, you understand, because of civil rights, because of horrible leadership like Dr. King, all right? But this was once a black city that was established by Native Indians, freedmen, abolitionists, and slaves. Everybody understand? This is real interesting. A lot of people don't know this. Kansas City, Kansas gets overlooked a lot by Casey Moe, but people don't understand that Missouri was actually a slave state. So you were a slave if you were from Missouri or you were a black person in Missouri. And when you came across this Underground Railroad, you saw Quindaro Ruins, this all-black town, this Native Indian town, full of freedmen, abolitionists, and black people, ex-slaves, you knew you were free. You understand? You knew you were free. We're under this awning right here. Quindaro Ruins awning. You got two plaques. You got a plaque on either side that tells you everything that I just said in summary. All right.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul.
Yeah, you see
the story I'm
this
telling
beautiful
is
shot
but yet it's what
of the
everyone
Missouri
knows.
River. On the other side is the state of Missouri, and we're in the state of Kansas. Everybody understand? You can see down there what slaves would look at when they knew they were on free property, free ground, free land. This right here. You can give a shot down here, like shot. Like, think about this. Think about what the slaves had to go through on their trek from the Underground Railroad to Kansas. Think about how harsh, and think about that long trek. Think about how they got thirsty and hungry, how they had to run from those bloodhounds, run from our oppressor, their slave master. Think about how cruel it was. You understand? Being black, being a so-called Negro at that time, and think about how cruel it is now to be a so-called black or so-called Negro at this time. Think about how really nothing has changed. You understand? If those slaves, our forefathers and our foremothers here in Quindale Ruins, if they saw the condition of black people in Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, Wyandotte, Johnson County, Jackson County, would they be satisfied with looking at sisters twerking on Instagram, on Facebook? Think about all they had to sacrifice just so you could go and get an education to become a neurosurgeon. You're wasting all of your youth on being an Instagram star, on being a Facebook hoe, on being a brother who sells drugs. Think about your forefathers who didn't sell drugs, but they were slaves. They fought so you didn't sell drugs. You understand? They fought so you wasn't a criminal. You understand? Like, that's what we have to realize. That's why it's important when the Bible says, remember the days of old. We're supposed to remember the times like this. Think about Quindale Ruins. Go ahead and get a shot of that again, Elisha. Think about Quindale Ruins and look at all of this that our forefathers had to conquer just so they could be free. On the other side, you will see slaves getting whipped, picking cotton in Missouri. And then 2 minutes away, right here in Kansas, you would be somebody who's a free black man. You're a brother and sister, you would be free. You understand? They didn't get the freedom just so you can twerk on TikTok and Instagram. Your foremother didn't die for that. Your foremothers died so you could be a mother. So you could be a sister who loves her people, like Harriet Tubman, who was one of the, who they call the godmother or the mother of the Underground Railroad. Where we standing right now, this is where the slaves, the Negroes who were slaves, this is where they would exit out of the Underground Railroad. And it's gonna be a part 2 to this where we're actually gonna go and see during the weekdays when they're open, we're gonna see the tunnel that the slaves had to go through. We're gonna see the trek they had to make just to become a free person. Just to become somebody who didn't have to pick cotton anymore. Just to become somebody who your oppressor looks at as a human being, man. That's what we had to go through. Not so we can sell drugs, not so we can be whores, not to vote, you understand? Not so we can be Democrats and Republicans, but so we can take care of the next generation of black people. That's why this is so important. It's important for your children to learn things like this. Nobody even knows about Quindale Park in the city of Kansas City. You understand? Black people don't even know about this area. You know why? Because of poor leaders who never taught us to take pride in learning about the history of where we came from. No matter how gruesome it was, it's supposed to teach the next generation of blacks and Hispanics how not to make those mistakes. How not to make the mistakes that our forefathers did so we don't end up in this same predicament that we're in. We have to obey God, keep his laws, keep his statutes, keep his commandments, realize your identity so we don't have to be in these type of, so we don't have to live the way our forefathers lived. So we don't have to so we don't have to be back in slavery again. You understand? So we don't have to, if we learn this type of history now, then guess what's going to happen? Your children won't make the same mistakes that Pop did, that our great-grandmothers did. You understand? They didn't know to keep the laws of God, but you do. The priests are in the earth again. The prophets of God are in the earth again under Commander Juliana and the Israelite School UPK. And it's our job to teach you the truth, and it's your job to digest the truth so you can live your life according to the truth. You understand? Shalom. Now you can still get video like shot.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact of them here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angels, be ready to rap. Cracking the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
Do you see just how it